All right. Let's start off by saying Barakatah Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahawsha, Ba'ashem Racha Kodash. Welcome to another live lesson. The name of this one is They Know. And pretty much this lesson comes to the inspiration of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahawsha by a video that I was watching as I was getting ready from the brother from the New York camp, Amawan Gabar. His channel is GMS Awakening 144 Da End or the End. And pretty much at the beginning of the video, you have the up and coming elder brother Yahawsha that was filming, which I saw the actual video about a little more than 4 minutes long, I think. And he was filming a fleet of chariots, and the brother Amawan Gabar used that as a platform for his lesson as to dealing with Esau and how they're setting everything up because they want to fight against the Lord and against his anointed. And it just inspired me to do the title came to mind as I was getting ready. Title came to mind as They Know, building off of his lesson. And I just recently did a lesson, I believe this was last week, June 14, 2021, into where it's called Various Topics. I should have renamed it after it went up, but was going into the Medes or the Russians and the the missiles, and then this article, which is in the description box. If you click it, you can go to it. It's a declassified so-called UFO sightings, and there's a whole bunch of different ones. I guess it's called the Black Vault. It's a whole bunch of different ones, and I focused on number, I'll tell you right now, I'm trying to see if I can see the guy's name. This is it. Colonel General Maltsev. And he said, I am not a specialist on UFOs. And pretty much all of these individuals are giving accounts that, and he was actually going over an account, something he sent me also. He was also going over an account of what some individuals were saying when they saw the chariots. They weren't going to really speak about it because they would be labeled as crazy. And that was pretty much the consensus, and that's what Esau wanted. But now that they're out, and there's so much coverage, so many sightings that they can't hide it. So now they said they finally decided to declassify, as the brother said, to control the narrative. They have something called Project Bluebeam, and they're going, Esau tries to mimic everything that the right hand does because they are the left hand, and everything is created in duality, one against another. So in this lesson, Lord's will to just hit some points and close out the lesson. So the first scripture that actually did come to mind, which we go to from time to time, which we're in that time now, is 2 Ezra, the 13th chapter. Now this was an actual vision that the Lord showed Ezra concerning the end times, because remember, the Lord, Ezra wanted to know what was going to happen at the end so that he can write these things down and give warning to those that came after. Because when you go back to the Babylonian Empire, when they destroyed the temple, they also destroyed and burnt up the books of the law. So he wanted to give or document things concerning the end so that the ones that would come after him can be warned. And that is the job of a prophet, to warn before these things actually come to pass. And seeing that these things are in the scriptures, these devils know that they're in the scriptures. When you type in UFOs in the Bible, it gives you, and even UFOs in artwork, they'll give you like a bunch of different paintings and different things. Matter of fact, let's try that. UFOs in the Bible. No, you know what? Let's go UFOs in art. Let's do art. Let's go to images. And then as you can see here, you have a painting, right? And then you have a ship in the background. You have another painting here, and you have in these two corners, you have some, looks like two vehicles with individuals sitting inside of them, which are the angels sitting inside of these vehicles that are flying in the heavens. Now, this is before planes or helicopters. So, you know, if this would have been in modern times, like, well, that was a, you know, the artist's depiction of, you know, of a helicopter, you know. There were no helicopters back then. There were no planes or jets or space shuttles back then. You know, the Wright brothers didn't invent, you know, the plane as of this point. So what are these vehicles that are in the sky that have individuals in them? Well, those are actual chariots. There's another one here. You won't be able to see it that good, but there's a like a circular disc chariot emitting a beam of ray from it onto this building here. All right. I will try to open it up, but some of these are small. Yeah. Let me see. You could kind of see it right there. And there's a beam coming right onto the building. You know? All right. So let's go back. Let's see what else we could find there. These are all the same, pretty much. And I'm sure there are more. You know, this is like a bigger picture of it. You know, and some of these are Renaissance art, or they could have just been whitewashed during the Renaissance period. There goes another chariot here. We saw this one. This is another one on the opposite side. You know, and for the most part, when you see the chariots, they appear, but they don't appear like, here goes a bigger picture of it. Looks like a cloud. You know, they appear, but they're not, like when you see those pictures of the very well detailed, you know, so-called UFO, and then you hear whizzing by and making all that noise. That's not a chariot. That's just something Esau put together, you know, because there's a report, I believe it's in this report here, where it actually said that the chariot didn't make any noise, you know, and those are the chariots. You know, they don't make those noises like they depict in these movies. All right, so these devils know. But what they do, see, and even as in this picture, what they do is, see, they put a alien head, you know, or make it look this way, or call them grays or whatever with big eyes, so that people can look at it as just craziness or a threat. And they are a threat. They're a threat to Esau, you know, but they're not a threat to the elect of the nation of Israel. So let's go from there. Let's go to 2 Ezra 13. It says, 2 Ezra 13:1. And it came to pass after 7 days I dreamed a dream by night. And lo, there arose a wind from the sea, that it moved all the waves thereof. And I beheld, and lo, that man waxed strong with the thousands of heavens. So who is this man that waxed strong with the thousands of heavens? This is dealing with Yahawsha. Let's go to Isaiah 47. And the scriptures say that Yahawsha, he said he comes in the volume of the book, you know. Isaiah 47:3, thy nakedness shall be uncovered, yea, thy shame shall be seen. I will take vengeance, and I will not meet thee as a man. So when Yahawsha comes back, he's coming back in an angelic state, angelic, glorious body, you know, and he's coming to take vengeance, because the day of vengeance is burning in his heart, and that's what he's coming to do. And the very first peoples that he's coming to visit are who? The Edomites. So why is it out of all the nations that are in the world, the Edomites are the very first nation that he's coming to visit? Well, it's because the Edomites are the ones that are in rulership. And this is why the Lord told Ezra that Esau is the end of the world and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. Because in this time, the earth has been given directly into the hands of the wicked. And from the time of the Renaissance period, which started around the mid to late 1300s into the 1400s, further up, especially going into the 15s and 1600s, they took foothold of the earth, control of the resources and the land masses, and they started to change all of the different paintings of our forefathers, that painted pictures of the Most High, Yahawsha, the angels themselves, the Israelites, and they took them and they whitewashed them. All right. So that began a great deception. So they are the ones that are in power. They are the man of sin, that are going into perdition, meaning into destruction or into being lost, because after their kingdom is destroyed and they serve their 1,000-year slavery, they will be rounded up, burnt up, and gone. No, there will be no more Edomites ever again. But their spirits will still live on, because the spirit is nothing but pure energy. Now, I was taught back in the old school that they may be mingled among the other nations. We don't know how that's going to play out. We'll find out in the kingdom. But the Most High, Yahweh, he made the heavens and he made beings in the heavens to dwell in the heavens, and he made the earth and he made beings to dwell on the earth. So their spirits were made to dwell on the earth. So it remains to be seen how it's going to be done. But as far as them being the nation of Edomites, that will never be again. That will be a distant memory. But we'll find out in the kingdom. It says Isaiah 63:1. Who is this that cometh from Edom? So why is it speaking about Edom? This is dealing with Yahawsha, because they are the ones that are in power. They are the ones that are in authority. This is why the scriptures equate the Edomites with the daughter of Babylon, and tie everything together with Babylon the Great and the Edomites, because they are the ones that would be in rulership upon the Lord's return. It says, with dyed garments from Basra being the capital of, Edom. Now this would be a representation of America. The capital of Esau, his kingdom is America. This is why they call New York the Excelsior or the Empire State. Because from this so-called country, America, is where they catapulted their so-called New World Order from. And this is why the Rothschilds back then, what they did was, when the so-called founding forefathers were establishing, after they conquered this land, they were establishing their government. He sent who? He sent Haim Solomon, which was a financier, to pay these so-called founding fathers to manipulate everything going in the direction of the Rothschilds, because they had a plan. All right. It says, this that is glorious in his apparel, traveling in the what? In the greatness of his strength. So Yahawsha is going to come back traveling in the greatness of his strength. He's not going to come back like he did before, as we read in Isaiah 47, where he said, I will not meet thee as a man. But he's coming traveling in the greatness of his strength. He's coming glorified, because he's coming as a conqueror. The conquering lion of the tribe of Judah. That's what he's coming to do. He's coming to kick ass. And it says, in righteousness he does judge and make war. It says, I that speak in righteousness, mighty to save. Because who's the one that speaks in righteousness, mighty to save? Yahawsha, which is sent by the Most High, Yahweh. Wherefore art thou red in thine apparel, and thy garments like him that treadeth in the wine fat. Yeah, because the act of this great disaster and destruction and deaths is going to be attributed and going to be credited to Yahawsha as the one doing it. I have trodden the winepress alone, and of the people there was none with me. For I will tread them in mine anger and trample them in my fury, and their blood shall be sprinkled upon my garments, and I will stain all my raiments. Like when they say David killed his 10,000s and Saul killed his thousands, that was what was accredited to them. Now, when King David and Saul and the other warriors were at war, they actually got their garments stained with blood of the enemy. but Yahawsha is going to be attributed. That's going to be attributed to him. He's not going to actually have blood sprinkling on a chariot and part of it on his garment and a little bit on the beard, you know, and some brain matter on his boot. You know, there ain't going to be none of that. You know, it says, for the day of vengeance is in mine heart, and the year of my redeemed is come. So the Lord is coming to do two things. He's coming to kick ass, and he's coming to deliver. He's coming to kick ass, Esau's ass, the other nations' asses, and the Israelites' asses that don't get themselves together. And he's coming to redeem his elect of the nation of Israel, so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native American Indians, and wherever the Israelites may be, no matter what they look like, whose fathers and forefathers go back to the so-called Negroes and so-called Indians. It says, and I looked, and there was none to help, and I wondered that there was none to uphold. Therefore mine own arm brought salvation unto me, and my fury, it upheld me. Because remember, the Lord is coming back furious to render his anger with rebuke and flames of fire. And I will tread down the people in mine anger and make them drunk in my fury, and I will bring down their strength to the earth. Why? Because they have the whole power of the earth right now. So did not Yahawsha say, how can anyone come into a strong man's house, lest he be bound first? So who's going to do the binding? Yahawsha is going to do the binding so that the saints can take the kingdom. You see? So now, going back to 2nd Ezra 13:3, and I beheld, and lo, that men wax strong with the thousands of heaven, which are who? The angels. Let's go real quick to the same book of Isaiah 13:3. I have commanded my sanctified ones, which are who? The prophets. I have also called my mighty ones for mine anger, which are who? The angels, even them that rejoice in my highness. You have a term called cherubim, which means mighty ones, you know, or mighty. So the angels are the mighty ones that rejoice in his highness, that are coming to do business on the earth. And this is why you have movies like Independence Day, where they show you the big gigantic ship. What do you think they got that idea from? From the scriptures. That looks like a mountain, and then you have shuttle ships coming up off of it, you know, and invading and tearing Esau's ass up. But the only difference is that none of them are going to receive any damage, you know. And all of a sudden you have 3 jets, Esau jets behind them, you know, and the chariot shoots back and gets one, and the chariot shoots back and gets the other one, but then a missile comes out of one and it kind of scrapes the front of the... No, man. That's Hollywood shit. You know? The chariots can move at the speed of light. They move like lightning. They could appear, disappear. How in the hell are they going to... You know, but this is Esau's bullshit. And this is, again, as the brother said, to control the narrative. There's a video even on YouTube right now. I'm not sure what it's called, but you actually see a chariot, you know, kind of just hovering, just chilling, moving, you know, and then all of a sudden you see like a bright light, and then you see the chariot taking off to the opposite way, but it just like at the drop of it didn't turn, it was going one way, and then all of a sudden took off the other way. And then when you saw the flash of light after the chariot was gone, long gone, then you see the ray of light from that beam come out. And it was a laser that they shot at it because they were trying to destroy it. But Esau knows they got their job cut out for them, because they're not going to be able to fight against the chariots. You know, you could have a chariot that Esau could chase, and just to play around with them, they could let him chase them, and then all of a sudden dive down and shoot into the water. And what Esau gonna do? Then all of a sudden it'll pop up and it's right behind Esau, or right above or right below. You can't fight against a power like that, man. Are you insane? So going back, it says, and when he turned his countenance to look, all things trembled that were seen under him. Yeah, because all eyes are going to tremble when they see the Lord, you know, for looking at those things which are coming upon the earth. Matthew 24 and 30. And then shall appear the sign of the Son of Man in heaven, and then shall all the tribes of the earth mourn. See, they're going to be in mourning. You know, the only ones that's going to be happy are the elect, and even the elect are going to be nervous. It says, and they shall see the Son of Man coming in the clouds of heaven with power and great glory. So it's going to be such a spectacular event that no one has really ever witnessed ever. Esau's movies couldn't even capture the essence of that, man. See? So going back, it says, and whensoever the voice went out of his mouth, all they burned that heard his voice, because he's coming with fire. I am come to send fire upon the earth, and what will life it be already kindled? Like as the earth faileth when it feeleth the fire, because remember, this earth is going to be renewed. And these missiles and the lasers from the chariots are going to help with the renewing of this place. It's going to help eradicate all of the pesticides and the chemical pollution and just the pollution in general. It's going to help purify it and bring it back to its former state. And then when the Israelites take over under Yahweh and Yahawsha, we'll have the laws put into our inward parts after our hearts are changed and our bodies are changed, and they will be able to set the earth back in its proper order. It says, yeah, they can't do anything, brother. Yeah, the brother ATL Mahar said, I saw a video of Esau shooting missiles at chariot, did absolutely nothing to them. That's right, because they can't. So going back, it says, and after this I beheld, and lo, there was gathered together a multitude of men out of number from the four winds of the heaven to subdue the man that came out of the sea. Remember, they have what? A space force. And why do they have the space force? You have many presidents, Truman, Ronald Reagan, and I'm sure there's others that I can't think of right now, that have given speeches on the so-called aliens, so-called force out of this dimension. Especially that Ronald Reagan individual, So they know. So what are they doing? They're preparing. They're trying to set traps. They're thinking they're going to win, which proves that they're insane. It says, so they said, let's read that again. And after this I beheld, and lo, there was gathered together a multitude of men out of number. Because remember what he said. He said, what if we found out that there was an alien force? Would we not put our differences aside to fight against it, or something along those lines? So this is what this is saying right here. And after this I beheld, and lo, there was gathered together a multitude of men out of number from the four winds of the heaven to subdue the men that came out of the sea. Because they were in horror. And what's the very first thing the flesh wants when it's in a horrified state? To be unhorrified, if that's even a word. They don't want to be horrified, so they want to go back to that comfort they had prior to seeing this distressful event. Right? So it says, but I beheld, and lo, he had graved himself a great mountain and flew up upon it. So the Ezra, when he saw this chariot that Yahawsha was on, he said it looked like a mountain. And here you go. And this is where Esau got this from. A great mountain. And there was another one in the movie prior to it coming out like that, which was, let's see if I can find that one real quick. ID4 movie, UFO cloud. Let's see if we could see what comes. Oh, yeah. That's what I'm talking about. All right. Just bear with me 1 second. Try to see if I can get a bigger one. Okay, this one's a little bigger. All right. Okay. All right. There we go. All right. So you see the chariot looks like a big mountain. You see the clouds around it, and you see what? Fire. You see fire coming up out of it, right? So let's go real quick to Ezekiel, as High Priest Ariah says it, chapter 1, and also High Priest Yaquab used to say it. It's verse 4. And I looked, and behold, a whirlwind came out of the north. See, a whirlwind. Check it out. Check esto. Look at that. A whirlwind came out of the north. A great cloud. Is that not a great cloud? It's a great cloud. And a fire enfolding itself. Wait a minute. Hold it now. Is that not a great fire? You know, enfolding itself. Right? It says, and a brightness was about it. Wait a minute. Hold it. Is that not a great brightness? It says, and out of the midst thereof, as the color of amber, out of the midst of the fire. Hold it now. Look at that. See? Amber is like a brownish yellow. Come on, man. What now? Was the producer of this movie, was he just that imaginative that he could just come up with this? This takes a hell of an imagination to come up with a vision like this. It's either two things, which is really both. Either he had a vision about it, or he read the Bible. And I'll say both, because one thing that Elder Apostle Gabar always speaks about from time to time is that these producers, one of the things that they do is they read the scriptures. That's why you watch certain movies and you be like, wait a minute, that sounds like when King David did so and so, or when one of King David's mighty men did this, or when King Zedekiah did this, or he did that. Because Esau read it from there and he used that and incorporated it into his movie. You know, it's like you when you write. You might write, but then you might be a little scatterbrained, so a thought idea might come. So let me jot that down so I won't forget. But it doesn't go right along with what you're writing at the time. You know, and then you might be writing something else, and another idea might come. Boom, you might write it down, or an idea for the ending might come, and you might write it at the very end, and you keep on writing, and eventually those points that you made, you incorporate them into that storyline. Well, that's what they do. You know. Anywho, let's read this again. It says, and I looked, and behold, a whirlwind came out of the north, a great cloud, and a fire enfolding itself, and a brightness was about it, and out of the midst thereof, as the color of amber, out of the midst of the fire. Boom. You can't make this up. These devils are not that creative. Trust and believe that. So going back to 2 Ezra 13 and 6, but I beheld, and lo, he had graved himself a great mountain, and flew up upon it. And this looks like a great mountain. Big. It says, but I would have seen the region or place whereout the hill was graven, and I could not. So he was looking around. I said, damn, that's a big mountain. How the hell did it get up there? So he's looking on the earth, trying to find a place on the earth where that mountain was cut out of. But he couldn't find it. Because it wasn't an actual mountain. It was a chip the size of a mountain. And that's what the scriptures say. What? Hold it now. Let's go real quick to Revelation chapter 1, verse 7. It says, behold, he cometh with clouds, and every eye shall see him. That's how big the ship is going to be. Let the scriptures say also, as the lightning cometh out of the east, something like that, so shall it come unto the Son of Man be. In other words, it's going to be evident when Yahawsha comes back. It ain't going to be no guessing, oh, I wonder, or I think, or could that be? No, it is. You know? Now, if these devils use their Project Bluebeam, and you see a image of a so-called white, Caesar Borgia or Jesus Christ, you know that now. That's not it. That's these devils trying to use that trickery. You know? Just like they had years ago, they had a hologram of Tupac, and it seemed like he was really actually there. and some other artist that they use. I forget who it was in another show, but pretty much that's, you know, that's what these devils do. This is their magic. You know how the Egyptians and the Chaldeans and all them, they use magic art. You know, well, this is exactly what Esau has, because he took on all of those the different worships and practices and customs and, you know, and witchcraft of these other nations, and incorporated them into one today. So it says, behold, he cometh with the clouds, and every eye shall see him, and they also which pierced him, which means what? Reincarnation. Because how in the hell can these two that pierced him, or these that pierced him, still be alive 2,000 years later? Think about it. And all kindreds of the earth shall what? Shall wail because of him. Even so be true. So that's what we read in here. You know? There was a part where, he turned his countenance to look, and all things trembled that were seen under him. See? There's going to be a fearful sight, man. Yeah, the Lord's coming back to deliver his elect, but remember, the Lord said he's an austere man. So how much, he's an austere man when he was on the earth back then, 2,000 years ago, how much more now being in a glorified state? He said he shall cry, yea, roar like a travailing woman. So how much more frightful is it going to be now when he comes in that angelic body with that great power, you know? Shh. But I would have seen the region or place whereout the hill was graven, and I could not. And after this I beheld, and lo, all they which were gathered together to subdue him were sore afraid, and yet there's fight. Why? Because the Lord put the spirit in them, or is going to put the spirit in them to fight. You know? It's one thing to fight against a man, but it's another thing to fight against a force that you have no understanding of. Because you're trying to fight against men, you know, hand-to-hand combat with Esau is, you know, aerial assaults and shooting missiles and all that, you know. But when it comes to something like of this magnitude, how do you fight against that? You're going to be afraid. And when people get afraid, what happens? They become petrified. They can't move. So the Lord is going to put the spirit in them to fight, because there's no fun beating up on somebody that don't fight back. So you're going to make them fight back. All right. It says, and lo, as he saw the violence of the multitude that came, because they're coming with violence. It says, he neither lifted up his hand, nor held sword, nor any instruments of war, but only I saw that he sent out of his mouth what? As it were, a blast of fire. I am come to send fire on the earth, and what will I if it be already kindled? He's going to bring more fire. He said, and out of his lips a flaming breath, and out of his tongue he cast out sparks and tempests. Let's go real quick to Habakkuk chapter 3. And I started one. A prayer of Habakkuk the prophet upon Shigionoth. O Lord, I have heard thy speech and was afraid. O Yahweh Bashem Yahawsha, revive thy work in the midst of the years, because at the end it shall do what? It shall speak and not lie. We're witnessing the revival of the prophecies. Oh, that's a lesson right there for a brother if they want. The revival of the, I forget how I said it. The revival of the prophecies of the Lord or something like that. You know, we're witnessing that. The revival of the prophecies of the Most High. Revive thy works in the midst of the years. Why? Because now the things that he spoke are actually speaking and coming to pass and confirming his words. It says, in the midst of the years make known, in wrath remember mercy. So in the midst of the years make known what? Your prophecies, and also the deliverance that you coming to bring for us. In wrath remember mercy upon your elect. You know, that's why in prayer we say, Lord, destroy this place, but remember mercy upon us. You know, please remember us, you know, have mercy upon us. It says the Most High came from Teman, which was one of the, they were Edomites. It says, and the Holy One, which is Yahawsha, from Mount Paran, Silah. His glory covered the heavens, and the earth was full of his praise. So his glory covered the heavens, meaning what? The chariots. And now we know that the chariot is going to be what? Huge. Like a mountain. It says, and the earth was full of his praise. Why? Because you're going to have those that are going to be delivered, that are going to be singing that song of deliverance and praise. Which is what we're doing out here. And that's why we say we're the hopeful elect. Because we're hoping to be of the elect, that the Lord delivers us. It says, and the earth is full of his praise, and his brightness was as the light. Why? Because he is going to have a glow about him. It says he had horns coming out of his hand. Now these horns coming out of his hands are what? Those lasers. Now I don't know if it goes into it when you look up. Let me see. Out of his hands, Mayad, horns. It just says Quaran, which is an actual horn. Horn. So like I knew this was coming, so just bear me 1 second. Okay, so lock it for that. It says horn of strength, flask, container for oil, horn as a musical instrument, horn-like projections on the altar of rays of light. That's what we want right there. All right, these are the rays of light, which is what? The beams from the chariot. And these are the same beams from the chariots that wrote the tables of stone. Because remember, there's tables of stone. So how was it written? It was a laser that cut into the stones and wrote the ancient Paleo Hebrew. I said it that way for a reason, because that is the actual the ancient Hebrew, the Lashawan Kodash. All right. Exodus 31:18. And he gave unto Moses, when he had made an end of communing with him upon Mount Sinai, 2 tables of testimony, tables of stone, written with the finger of the Most High. See, that was an actual laser that came out. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, they showed you that in the movie, one of those Raiders of the Lost Ark. If I'm not mistaken, I could be wrong. I wasn't a big, I watched the movies here and there, but I wasn't like a big fan, so I didn't really get deep into it like others have. Atazabai, this is finger, toe. All right. So that's how he wrote it, with the finger of the Most High, which were the lasers that came out of there, and it was precise. So this ray here, or this horn, and his brightness was as the light, and he had horns coming out of his hand, Now there's a footnote on the margin in the red book, the Bible that we have. We tell you brothers about. With some of you brothers found the actual Bible online and cop one. There's a footnote in the margin for horns coming out of his hand, and it says, what number is that? Just bear with me. 5. which says, or bright beams out of his side, which shows you it's talking about those rays. And pretty much what is a laser? It's concentrated light. You know? You could use a magnifying glass and do that. You know, when we were younger, we did that. Take the magnifying glass and put it on an ant, and then the ant would get, you know, fried, which was wicked. But we was assholes. You know, did fucked up shit too. You know. So it says, and his brightness was as the light. He had horns coming out of his hand, and there was a hiding of his power. That's why we read over here that it says, and lo, verse 2 Ezra 13:9, and lo, as he saw the violence of the multitude that came, he neither lifted up his hand, nor held sword, nor any instrument of war, but only I saw that he sent out of his mouth, as it were, it had been a blast of fire. So we're reading that he had horns coming out of his hand, which the hand represents power, which are the lasers, and there was a hiding of his power. See? Those are the lasers that came out that are going to cut people down. This is why, like in the War of the Worlds, right? Let's see if we can find that. War of the Worlds. War of the Worlds tripods. There we go. Trying to find a good one. You know what? I'll go with this one here. Hopefully. Okay, cool. As you can see there, you know, you had the tripods. You know, you see the fire that came from the lasers. I think this is just a light, or it could be the laser they're shooting down. Yeah, lasers. And that's what was coming out of them. Were those lasers? Tripods, lasers. I was trying to find the one. Here we go. This is a good one. This is a really good one. But it's going to be small. Damn it. Oh, wait a minute. This one might. All right. Okay. All right. Here we go. There we go. Boom. See? That's the laser coming out. This was the one from the 1950s. You know, it's a laser coming out, burning people up. And that's what's going to happen. And then the newer one with Tom Cruise, they actually show people getting smoked. I was trying to find that one, but I couldn't really find that one. But they show you people getting smoked by those lasers. All right. So going back, 2 Ezra 13:10. But only I saw that he sent out of his mouth, as it had been a blast of fire. It says, and out of his lips a flaming breath, and out of his tongue he cast out sparks and tempests. And they were all mixed together, the blast of fire, the flaming breath, and the great tempest, and fell with violence upon the multitude, which was prepared to fight, and burned them up every one, so that upon a sudden of an innumerable multitude, nothing was to be perceived, but only dust and smell of smoke. When I saw this, I was afraid. See? So it's going to be a very spectacular event. And remember, let's go to Exodus. Got to wipe the dust off of this one, because we ain't brought this out in a while. Exodus 15:3. The Lord is a man of war. The Lord is his name. See? Let's see if I put in war. I think it's going to be too many. Yeah. The one I want is in Psalms. Let me try Psalms 46. Let's see. Control find. Here we go. That's it. Psalms 46:9. He maketh wars to cease unto the end of the earth. So the Lord can stop wars, and the Lord can create wars. Remember, he's the Lord of Sabaoth, or Yahweh Tazabawath, which is the Lord of the armies, or the Lord of hosts. He maketh wars to cease unto the end of the earth. He breaketh the bow. Matter of fact, I got two precepts that came to mind. I don't want to forget them. So let me get that one. Let me get boom, beautiful. All right. Where were we? Did I lose the other one? Okay. Psalms 46 and 9. He maketh wars to cease unto the end of the earth. He breaketh the bow and cutteth the spear in sunder. He burneth the chariot in the fire. So the victory comes from Yahweh Bashem Yahawsha. Not from anywhere else. Doesn't matter how great your military is, how great your weaponry is, how advanced it is. There's a scripture that says the victory is of the Lord, or something along those lines. If brothers know where that's at, they could put it up. Isaiah 13 and 4. The noise of a multitude in the mountains, like as of a great people, which dealing with the missiles, a tumultuous noise of the kingdoms of the nations gathered together. The Lord of hosts mustereth the host of the battle. That's dealing with the physical armies, and is also dealing with the spiritual armies of the missiles. All right. And then the other one was Revelation 19 and 11. And I saw heaven open, and behold, a white horse, and he that sat upon him was called Faithful and True, which is Yahawsha, and in righteousness he doth judge and make war. See? Beautiful, beautiful. All right. And that's pretty much it on that. So pretty much these devils know. They know beyond a shadow of a doubt that the chariots are real, that the chariots are a threat to them, that the chariots are of Yahweh Bashem Yahawsha. He knows that it's the Heavenly Father, with the angels, with Yahawsha and the angels that's coming back to take him down out of his position, because the earth is the Lord's and everything in it. He put us down one and set us up another, So that's the bottom line, Matter of fact, before I close out, let me see something. Before we close out, let me see something. Let's see. All right, I can't find that, but you brothers know what I'm talking about. All right, so pretty much, with that, I pray that you brothers have been edified. Salaka, the waterfall, the comments you brothers have been putting up, and all the scriptures that you brothers put up. Salaka, I didn't get a chance to read maybe one or two, or maybe just one, but I hope that you brothers have been edified. Until the next time I say shalom.